I really wish that I could spend tonight and tomorrow, which is Yom HaShoah, Holocaust Remembrance Day, right? It's the day that we Jews and the whole world really think about and remember our 6 million who were turned to ash, gassed, slaughtered by Hitler and the Nazis. I wish I could spend that day really thinking about the 6 million, which I do every single year. But this year, I literally cannot stop thinking about Joe Rogan's recent podcast with Douglas Murray and Dave Smith. Douglas Murray, who I absolutely adore and love, confronted Joe Rogan and Dave Smith and said, "Why are you guys hosting someone like Daryl Cooper, who's not a historian and who's dipping his feet into Holocaust denial and completely making up World War II history?" And Joe Rogan was like, "That never happened. He never said anything like that."
But if you say, I've decided that Churchill is the bad guy in
That's not
World
what he
War
said.
II.
That's not what he said. But what he's saying is by Churchill's actions, the war escalated. If you take Daryl's words out of context, Daryl has some of the most nuanced, balanced, and charitable views on all the figures in history.
Well, particularly Hitler, it seems.
No, you're wrong.
True.
You're wrong.
But we all listened to Tucker Carlson's podcast, and we heard Daryl Cooper say that he kind of thinks that Winston Churchill was the chief villain of World War II.
And I told him that I think, and maybe I'm being a little hyperbolic, maybe, but I told him, maybe trying to provoke him a little bit, that I thought Churchill was the chief villain of the Second World War. You see that he was primarily responsible for that war becoming what it did.
We heard him say that Hitler and the Nazis had millions of prisoners and they put them into camps and they didn't realize that you needed to feed all of them and they ran out of food. So millions of people ended up dying in those camps.
They were completely unprepared to deal with the millions and millions of prisoners of war, of local political prisoners and so forth that they were going to have to handle. They went in with no plan for that. And they just threw these people into camps. And millions of people ended up dead there.
We heard him defending Hitler, saying that Hitler just wanted peace. He was sending out peace proposals and dropping leaflets on London. And it was evil Winston Churchill who wanted a war.
And throughout that summer, Adolf Hitler is firing off radio broadcasts, giving speeches, literally sending planes over to drop leaflets over London and other British cities, trying to get the message to these people that Germany does not want to fight you. Offering peace proposals that, it said, you keep all your overseas colonies.
Candace Owens this year told millions of people that Mengele's experiments sound like bizarre propaganda.
But then you move on to the experimentation. Yes, of course, that's been embedded into our minds. The Nazis experimented on innocent people. Candace, come on, that's the difference. They experimented on twins. I mean, some of the stories, by the way, sound completely absurd. I'm like the idea that they just cut a human up and then sewed them back together. Why would you do that? Literally, even if you're the most evil person in the world, that's a tremendous waste of time and supplies. Just slice a person in half and sew them together. That just sounds like bizarre propaganda.
And I'm just thinking about how we Jews are actually in a war right now. It's not just the Jewish state of Israel. It's the Jewish people. It's Jewish history. And the 6 million do not have a voice anymore. Their voice was stolen from them. If you go to Eastern Europe right now, you will see mountains of ash in concentration camps like I did. Those ashes were once laughing, living, loving human beings, Jews, who had children, who had spouses, who had jobs, who lived a beautiful life. And that was stolen from them. And we are their voice. And we can't allow the world to lie and deny what happened. May their memories not only be a blessing, but may Hashem, creator of the universe, bring them back with the coming of Mashiach.